What's up, guys? My name is Shreyas Laddha, and I'm with my guy Carter Stanley, and it's another episode of Rock Chalk Film Room. It's been a while since we've had the chance to kind of talk KU football, and it is an important game for Kansas this week. They're playing Arizona. Both teams are at 5 wins. They need one more win to clinch bowl eligibility. This will be a tough matchup for one reason in particular. Arizona quarterback Noah Fifita. He is a beast. 21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He feels like he can do anything you want out there. And I'd say he's in the upper echelon of Big 12 quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, he's dangerous. I think he's only listed at like 5'10", 187, which kind of questions, is that like an actual true listing for the first time ever? Because they usually give you an extra inch, they usually give you 5 to 10 pounds, but man, he's a smaller guy, but gosh, he makes some big time throws, big time plays. And, I think for KU, it's going to be a tough task because quite frankly, looking at the film, I'm not quite sure, what a true answer is to stopping this guy. And, I think you'll see on this first clip here, it's, granted it's Weber State, but this is just a very elementary example of what he does. This was obviously not designed. It's just kind of a late rollout to the edge of the offensive line. He's getting outside instead of stepping up through the A or B gap. And he just kind of has a way of getting guys open, whether that's throwing the ball in a different spot or because of scrambling and just doing a great job of scramble drill.
Yeah, and the most interesting thing is when you look at his rushing stats, they're not anything remarkable. I mean, he's put on 80 rushing yards, maybe 100 rushing yards in the season so far, and he has 3 touchdowns, which is good, but it's not like it screams dual threat ability, right? But when you watch the clips, he's not ever really in the pocket as much as you think he is. He kind of rolls out to the right, rolls out to the left, find an angle to get a defender confused, and he finds a wide receiver for big gain. And he's super, super accurate. And that's something Coach Lance Leipold said, something Deacon McDonald said, that his accuracy, I think, is one of his best attributes.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's evident on the tape. Again, as far as, scheming up ways or just thinking of ways to stop this guy, it's tough to say because, I was thinking initially contain with the ends, that whether that's a defensive end or edge rusher, kind of contain him and keep him in the pocket, almost cause him to step up. But you'll see, and this is literally the first play of the game against K-State. And who knows if they maybe thought this was a good idea, but, you'll see him just step up here kind of through the B gap, runs and takes off for an easy 15. So, it's tricky. It kind of makes you debate whether you should maybe designate a quarterback spy on some of these downs and, just have a linebacker that's there and, obviously playing some kind of zone coverage kind of right over the ball about 8 to 10 yards. But his main priority is kind of controlling this QB scramble. What's
the kind of mindset of when you would put the spy? Would you put it on a down third down? Would you want it on first down? Is there a ideal time you think that you put a quarterback spy on him?
Yeah, I would say kind of like a third and medium, but again, it's tough because he's so accurate with his arm that it's like one guy committing to the spy, that's one less guy rushing the passer or in coverage. So, again, I'm glad I'm not getting paid to be a defensive coordinator because this guy kind of causes a headache here.
100%.
And yeah, this third clip here, this just kind of shows you how ridiculous it can get at times. Oklahoma State, I thought, did a great job of putting pressure on him here. The outside, the inside. He runs left, which for a right-handed quarterback, that's, unless you're Jalen Daniels, who just rips it when he's rolling left. But that's kind of what you want usually. Ends up reversing back right, makes a couple guys miss. And again, he gets the receiver open, which is so impressive. And, I know we've been talking about Fifita, but they have a lot of playmakers on this offense. I think they have 5 guys that are about north of 250 receiving yards on the season. So, They offensively they're really impressive, and KU's definitely going to have their hands full.
Yeah, honestly, not to steal Chris Collinsworth's line here, but he looked a little Mahomey in that in that play. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting was DK McDonald. I mean, obviously, he's got to see it firsthand when he was the DB coach for the Eagles, but he said he throws the guys open. Like, you don't see a lot of quarterbacks in college football throw guys open like Fifita does. It kind of showcases that he has that caliber and ability to be an NFL quarterback, and that's going to be a big test for Kansas.
Yeah, I think honestly the best. I think Zeke Marshall could honestly be a great scout team quarterback. I don't know if he's being the scout team quarterback this week, but similar frame, similar athleticism, running around, and you need to practice these scramble drills where one play is called. It could be a generic pass concept, but then coach is telling Zeke to scramble around, make plays like this, and just getting those defensive backs and linebackers those reps. Also the D line, working on pursuit and finishing the tackle in the backfield. I think that's going to be crucial.
100%. Let's see if they can get it done, and Kansas can walk out of Arizona with a bowl berth clinched.
Yeah, no, it'd be huge. It's homecoming for Arizona. They're 5-3 or 5-4 as well, and so they're looking for the same thing. That's 6 wins. So road win would be huge. A lot of pressure on the defense. Obviously, offense has to handle their business and put points on the board, but definitely should be a good one.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.